good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
What's greetings, Earth?
Same genius time.
Any demographic I identify with.
I don't believe you murdered.
I think an ignorant voter and a non-voter
crazy what he did. He took the military out
are
before
one and
he
the
took
same.
the civilians.
Same
Who does
genius
that?
channel.
Under his watch.
What
Know
has
something,
he done
bro.
about police reform in this country? Nothing.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to Unsolicited Genius. I am your curator, Carlton. On today's show, we will talk about the Ohio train wreck, to do or not to do the NFL Combine, and the value of some live music. We hope to give you something to ponder. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 33 of Unsolicited Genius. You got me solo today, so be kind in the comments. I know y'all gonna miss Mo and Craig, but I do good by myself too. So on today's show, we're gonna start with the Ohio train wreck. I got a lot of emotions related to what's transpired, and first and foremost, prayers to those in East Palestine, Ohio. And, I pray that you all are well. I pray that you all remain healthy and that you get the support from the officials that you deserve, because you didn't deserve this. So for those who don't know, on February 3rd, when I was celebrating my birthday, there was a 50-car train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. It's a small town in Ohio, and the train is operated by Norfolk Southern. There were leaks of a bunch of chemicals, lists to include vinyl chloride, butyl acrylate, ethylhexyl acrylate, and ethanol glycol monobutyl ether. If I said those wrong, my apologies. Organic chemistry was not my best subject. 2,000 plus residents ordered to evacuate, but have since been allowed to return. The cause is still being investigated, but what seems to be known is that there was an overheated wheel bearing on the car that initiated the crash. The train may have been on fire for 20 miles before it actually derailed, and there was a mechanical failure warning before the crash occurred. Suffice to say, this is an ecological disaster. One of the substances released was phosgene, a gas deployed as a chemical weapon in the First World War. Vinyl chloride, which is associated with an increased risk of liver cancer, brain and lung cancers, lymphoma, and leukemia. The United States Environmental Protection Agency, also known as EPA, said that it carried out a robust air quality testing and had not detected any levels of health concerns that can be attributed to the incident. But chemicals have contaminated the soil in the surrounding area. Eye irritation, upper respiratory infections, headaches, rashes, unusual smells, and dying animals have been reported. Chickens, fish, somebody who keeps foxes. These animals have either been sick, shown signs of sickness, or are dead, have died. Hazardous material was found in waterway samples. Material related to the incident was seen entering storm drains. Aaron Brockovich of, at this point, environmental and Hollywood fame, said, "This is why people don't trust government. You cannot tell people that there has been and continues to be hazardous pollutants contaminating the environment, while at the same time saying all is well." And hazardous material expert Sil Caggiano said, "We basically nuked the town." The issue being rail transportation being used to move vast quantities of toxic and dangerous substances in close proximity to communities. The rail unions have criticized Norfolk Southern for adopting practices that make mechanical failures more common. A key criticism involves precision scheduled railroading, PSR, a practice that calls for consolidating shipping within tight scheduled windows. Operators say the model boosts financial and operational efficiency. Railroad workers, since 2016, employment is down 29%. Fewer workers are being assigned to larger and heavier trains. It was reported by Norfolk Southern workers that the train in question experienced multiple red flags that went undetected before derailing. The workers say the train is widely known for being difficult to run due to the decisions management makes about how cargo is arranged. So what does this all mean? Why does it care? Why are we talking about it on Unsolicited Genius? Because the impact that this will have on the residents may not be known for years. Plants, livestock, all affected, all impacted. So what you eat, what you breathe, what you drink. As a community, property value will plummet. The residents will be stuck. They won't be able to give their houses away. And to date, the Federal Railroad Administration and the Biden White House have sided against the safety concerns that allow rail operators to continue employing the precision scheduled railroading. So why do I care? Because I'm an American, pay taxes, I vote. And what happened in East Palestine can happen anywhere. Everywhere I've lived, everywhere I seem to travel, I hear trains in the background. Who knows what they're transporting? Who knows how well the railroads and the cargo is being maintained? Cargo, I say cargo, the cars carrying the cargo are being maintained. And it reinforces the reality that capitalism rules despite what is in the best interest of the people that capitalism is supposed to be benefiting. So a technique, a method that maximizes profits, maximizes efficiency, but lowers safety, causes harm to employees and communities. We're all up in arms, or many of us are up in arms about the water quality in Mississippi, the water quality in Flint, Michigan. But here we have connected our government, our corporations, aligned in a system that has now poisoned the soil, the water, the air of its citizens, who had no choice in the matter, who had nothing to do with what was being transported, who had nothing to do with the mismanagement of the railway. But they're sick, they're impacted financially, and have no clue about what's to come. So on our show, we talk a lot about politics. We talk about the left and right, and really that no one is right. But to say that the Biden administration sides for now with a policy that puts citizens at risk is further indication of why we got to vote, why we have to be informed about who we're voting for. All these shenanigans that we see happening in DC, the State of the Union address, the fussing, the yelling, the posturing, the misinformation that seems to permeate every conversation with a politician. This is the reality. They can't wordsmith their way out of East Palestine, Ohio. These people are innocent, and these people are victims of a system that says it's here for us to have the Super Bowl and the NBA All-Star game. You know, there's jets flying, there's pomp and circumstance, there's the singing of the national anthem, America the Beautiful, the Negro national anthem, all these songs in an effort to encourage a faith in a country that prioritizes profit over well-being, that prioritizes profit over the environment, that prioritizes profit over our lives. So the trail derailment in Ohio is scary to me because it can happen anywhere. It can happen in any system. We talk about healthcare. The ebbs and flows of the money in healthcare have disparities being perpetuated nationwide. Healthcare is not an equal delivery system. COVID showed us that. The prison systems, you have judges in cahoots with folks where they get kickbacks for the more children they send to the prisons. Profit over the people. And this trail derailment is further indication of that concept. It's proof, nothing to debate. Even with the investigation not done, they know what it is. They know what it did. The strikes last year were indicators of the upheaval in the railroad system. And here we are. So in liking to be a solution-oriented person, make this a solution-oriented show, I ain't got no answers today beyond be aware. Election cycle is coming. Elections, you know, we're about to be in the season. Everybody is gearing up. At the town hall meetings, these are the questions that we ask. These are the conversations that we have to make our politicians respond to, and once in office, be accountable to. Because if we don't, we're going to die. All right, we'll take a break and be right back. Welcome back to Unsolicited Genius. What in the sports? So Super Bowl has happened. Shout out to the Chiefs. Sorry, not sorry to the Eagles. And we are officially in the off season, what I tend to call the dry season, because football ain't on. Now we got basketball. NBA just had their All-Star game. I thought the game itself sucked. Nothing even to debate there. I was excited, and had my popcorn ready and was thinking, I was gonna see some balling. But between the rules and LeBron got hurt, Giannis was hurt, and the 3/4 and the adding up the score and the target score and the under the other, whatever. The game sucked. I get it. They just out there to have fun. I don't want anybody getting hurt. Bam was out there, so I was watching his every move. Do not hurt Bam. Shout out to the Heat. But come on. If we're going to play the game, play the game. If not, do what the NFL did. Just, throw some flags on and, do some backflips and call it a day. But needless to say, we're in the NFL offseason, and one of the main events that occurs during the offseason is the NFL Combine. But NFLPA Executive Director DeMaurice Smith said he wants to get rid of the scouting combine. Why? Makes me ponder. A lot of things in the stratosphere that liken it to the slave trade or the trading of slaves. I myself don't prescribe to that perspective because people are competing in something that they love for an opportunity to make a whole lot of money, playing a game that is fully entertainment for the rest of the country. Now, to watch it, yeah, it could feel a little icky at times. And I think DeMar Smith and others are looking at the icky feeling dynamics that don't seem to serve the athlete. For example, the whole intent of the combine is basically to lower an individual's draft status. If they're Heisman Trophy worthy athletes, star athletes, score a lot of points, make a lot of tackles, do a lot of stuff, you got the footage on film, you got the highlights on ESPN. The combine is seeing how fast you really are, how strong you really are, how high you can really jump, all of which makes nice stats in comparison to others. But at the end of the day, if you can ball, you can ball. And they already know that. So the combine isn't for the athlete. The combine is for the NFL owners who don't want to break that bread. Another perspective is about medical privacy. The depths at which these players disclose their medical information, a lot of it ain't nobody's business. Is your heart healthy? Can you ball? Those are the questions. And at the end of it all, teams use it or in any other place of employment, these intrusive strategies that the NFL uses to evaluate the players don't exist in no other business. As a healthcare administrator, yeah, there's an onboarding process. There's some testing to ensure there isn't an abuse of substances, but that's universal. But beyond that, they don't get my medical information. Granted, a little bit more involved with athletes, but the stuff they ask about, the Wonderlic that tests how smart you are, all these other things that are incorporated into this weekend of events and activities are not indicators of how great you will be. Greatest quarterback to ever play the football game. If you don't know his name, we call him Tom Brady. He was drafted in the 6th round. Mr. Irrelevant, Purdy, Uncle Mo's homie, quarterback for the 49ers, or one of the 4 quarterbacks for the 49ers, took them to the playoffs, and he was the last player drafted. And that's not to speak to all of the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players drafted in the 1st round over the years that we don't hear from, we don't know nothing about, because they got out there and ain't shake nothing. But they performed at the combine, but weren't able to perform on the field. So in lieu of the national combine, what's being proposed is regional pro days, which they already do. You know, get with the colleges in the area, get with some stadiums, some open fields in the area, come to the players, come to where they train, come to the places and spaces that they're comfortable, stay out their business, watch them do what they do, and go ahead and use all the footage that has existed for some of these athletes since they were in the single digits of age. Use that footage to make a decision as to whether or not this is somebody you want on your team. We see how they play. We see if they could keep up. We saw what Georgia did to TCU. What you need to know, everybody on Georgia's starting roster should probably be in the NFL. The quarterback was a little old, so I'm on the fence with him, but I could get behind it. I could get behind doing away with the NFL Combine. As a fan, it is fun, but I don't need it. I want to know where the Gators going, and I want to know who the Giants getting. I'm still going to get that information one way or the other. So here on Unsolicited Genius, we support doing away with the NFL Scouting Combine. And All-Star Weekend, NBA All-Star Weekend, y'all need to do better. Are you entertained? So what I have been watching, or not even what have I been watching, what I watched was a movie called White Noise on Netflix starring Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig, released on Netflix in 2022 based on a book by Don DeLillo. And the plot is a train crash which releases a huge cloud of toxic chemicals in the air, referred to as the airborne toxic event. After the airborne toxic event ensues a zany journey in survival for a family. Ironic, maybe, to have learned of the trail derailment in Ohio. My mind immediately went to this movie. It came out in 2022. I watched it, give or take, a month ago. So first, if you want to see how art imitates life, go watch it. If you want, thought-provoking isn't the term it's like the thought tinglies. I won't even say provoking. It gets your thoughts tingling because half the time you're trying to figure out what the heck they talking about. Not because it's bad, because they go there with a lot of different topics. So the airborne toxic event is the backdrop to a more entertaining story. Also to note, Don Cheadle, one of my favorite actors, and our favorite rapper, Andre 3 Stacks, also appear in this movie. So, and there's actually an extra from the movie who is from this town in Ohio where the derailment occurs. So it's super weird for him. But if you want to be entertained, if you want to just see some more stuff about the human experience while also having the ability to gain some empathy and sympathy for our family in Ohio, check out White Noise. What have I been listening to? So Valentine's was last week. Shout out to all the lovers in the house. And by lovers, I mean boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, father, daughter, father, son, mother, grandmother, friends, family, anybody that you love. If you got somebody who love you and you love somebody, you are a lover. And that's who I think Valentine's Day is for. But I'll get off my soapbox and just say, on Valentine's Day, went to see Michael Hale Trio featuring Mac McIntosh. They are drummer, keyboardist, bassist, and a singer. And they did the damn thing for Valentine's Day. Probably throw some pics up on Instagram just so you can see what I saw. If you live in Austin, Texas, the Michael Hell Trio featuring Mac McIntosh performs every Tuesday, 9:00 at Half Step in downtown Austin. Loved it, loved it, loved it. We'll be back. There's dancing, there's laughing. There was even a little baby there. She didn't perform. She was just cute, but had a good time. Drinks is good. Got to get food from the food truck, but they let you bring it in. Get there early because it get crowded. Great band, great music, great time. What have I been reading? As I said the last few episodes, I got a few books that's happening at the same time. We'll see which one gets done first. But one of them that I referenced before, I'll reference again, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. It's heavy, y'all. It's a lot. The premise is about Homo sapiens and how we got here, but the content is almost a referendum on how we are, what we do. And one of the key concepts that the author emphasized is that capitalism, consumerism, socialism, all the isms that we often reference for one reason or another, he likens them to religion. And at one point states that, how do I say this? That we as a society adhere more to the religious rules of capitalism than we do the rules of Christianity. So for those of us that read and study and live by the words in the good book, we don't do so good when it compares to how much in lockstep we are with capitalism and its baby sister, consumerism. And it is a byproduct of capitalism and consumerism that derailed that train, that poisons our water, that poisons our air, that misinforms us, that miseducates us, that ostracizes us, that has the richest country in the world with people, thousands, if not millions of people sleeping on the street, the richest country in the world, and people can't get health care when they need it. Richest country in the world, and fill in the blank. So capitalism is way older than I realized. Any Game of Thrones fans, it was happening in real life, that medieval times, capitalism existed as we saw it kind of move and shake on Game of Thrones. So nothing is new under the sun. And while we as Homo sapiens have existed on this sun for thousands of years to our historical knowledge, as much as we rise, we fall. And the opportunity is always before us to do better. So Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, if you're looking for something to read to understand how we are, why we are, and how we got to be here in lieu of all the other dynamics that happen in the world. And I'm not talking be here from a religious standpoint, but be here in America versus Asia, why Russia do what it do and Africa do what it do. Be here in that regard. Check out Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. Now we will take a break and be right back. Welcome back to Unsolicited Genius. Before we get out of here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share. Instagram, like, comment, follow, share. Twitter, do what you do. Like, comment, follow, share, all of the above. Shout out to super producer Joe Nitty. Thank you, brother. Love you, brother. You do great work. Thank you for your patience and your understanding. And to our sponsors, Legacy Wear, your legacy awaits. www.legacywearus, www.legacywearus.com. Megacore CBD, broad spectrum hemp derived CBD, the way nature intended. You can find them at www.megacorecbd, spelled like CBD.com. www.megacorecbd.com. And Aura Rainwater Hydrate and Elevate, www.aurarainwater.com. Pause for a minute. Understand, water, we need it. Water, we need it. Need to drink it, need to consume it. Our mind, bodies, and spirit needs water. And so that makes the trail derailment that much more tragic because it's messing with the water. And that's it. Special shout out to all the carnival revelers. Fat Tuesday is tomorrow. Ash Wednesday is the day after that. So do your thing. Have fun. Stay out of jail. Don't overindulge. You know, I've been to Mardi Gras, I've been to Carnival in Trinidad. I respect it. But remember, the reason for the season is in 40 days, starting Wednesday. So do your thing, have fun, and then let's come back and focus in his name and in his honor. With that, for Thoughts of Genius, my question is, what are we worshiping? Talked about capitalism and consumerism being like religions. When I think about it, we all do it. We all have done it. It's not for me to call it a false god on anybody's behalf, but I can speak to what I feel and what I see. When I turn on my TV, I see glitz. I see glitz and glamour. I see the red carpet. I see the lights. I see the celebrity. I see the fame. Sometimes I want that. We go on the ground. We see people showing pictures of private jets and couples laying on beaches somewhere and fancy cars and fancy clothes and red bottoms and the J's when they coming out. We want that. But at what cost? For what purpose? In replacement of what? Because at the end of the day, we're here to love ourselves, love each other, learn the love from God, if that's what you believe. I love me some Jigga. I ain't on the Beehive, but I respect what Beyonce does. But is there some idolizing of them that we might do? The Kardashians stay on TV. Is there some idolizing of them that we might do? BMW came out with a new whip and our neighbor got it. Is there some idolizing that we might do? Entrepreneur, just getting started in your biz, you go on Instagram and you got somebody telling you, I got a quick way for you to make $1 million by flipping who you follow and this algorithm and that algorithm, and then you put it on repeat and bam, the money's in the bank. But what at what cost of your authenticity of the product that you're pushing? Is it content? Is it quality? Or is it just quantity? I ain't here to judge because I do all those things. I've done all those things. I got some of those things probably coming up. I just don't even know it yet. And at the same time, maybe it's time we check ourselves. Maybe it's time we ask ourselves that question. Am I pursuing this thing for personal pleasure, for purpose, or just because I think that's what I'm supposed to do? Am I elevating someone or something to a level that has me deprioritizing myself, my family, my loved ones? We know how the game go. We got people getting knocked off left and right, jacked and robbed and killed for what? Some jewels so I can get some cash, so that I can buy the car, so I can hit the strip and flash. Is that what it's about? And so for the students of the good book, we read about, we know about that golden calf. It may not be gold, and it may not be a depiction of an animal that we bow down before. But we are bowing. And on that, this has been another episode of Unsolicited Genius. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Same Genius time, same Genius channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Catch you next time.
Listening to Unsolicited Genius. Unsolicited Genius. Unsolicited Genius.
Craig D. Molat.
Unsolicited Genius.
You are listening to Unsolicited Genius.